Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Very happy New Year. This is the first program of 2026, and our theme is about the Somaliland and Israel's recognition of Somaliland, which has caused ripples. It called for the UN Security Council emergency meeting in which, except for the United States, all members condemned the move. In order to understand the nitty-gritty of this entire issue of Somaliland, why it has come into being, and why at this point Israel has chosen to recognize Somaliland, what would be the American objectives, and then what is going to be the Arab League's reaction, OIC's reaction, as well as African Union's. So these are very big issues. It has emerged into a big issue at the regional level as well as at the global level. To discuss all these issues, I have a very expert panel. I can say that Imran Yawar, his half of career has been in Africa, and so he's undoubtedly our expert about Africa. And then we have Ambassador Riaz Bukhari, who was also our ambassador in Zimbabwe, and he has a deep insight into the African affairs. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Imran, to begin with you, please first enlighten us about this the Somaliland issue, how it came up, how it has come about, and then now we are looking at it in the emergency, you can say, setting.
Okay, I'll say first of all, Somaliland got its independence in 1960. 5 days after its independence, it voluntarily agreed to join Somalia. The objective was that French Somaliland, that is Djibouti was part of Somaliland, the French Somaliland and main Somalia and the Ogaden region west of Ethiopia, they will all get together and they will form a greater Somalia. This was the objective of their joining Somalia. Now, immediately after that, what happened was that the Somalilanders, they started feeling aggrieved. They were sidelined in jobs, in allocation of budget, everywhere. Somalia had started sidelining them. But I think that could also have been avoided. But what the worst was when General Saad Barre came in 1969.
Yes.
He came there, and then we had this Hargeisa Holocaust in 1987-88, in which 200,000 Somalilanders were killed. Now, you must also realize that Somalilanders are basically they belong to one tribe, that is the Isaac tribe, and they have the Isaac genocide which took place under Saad Barre. So there was a resentment, and then there came the Somali national movement which emerged in the north, and they wanted to go for independence. They wanted to have independence. They wanted to break away from the main Somalia and form their own government, and it had the support of the elders within the country.
How about external factor involved in making of the Somaliland or its movement?
No, there was no external factor. No. This Somaliland movement was purely internal. It was because of the grievances of the Somalilanders which they faced from the main Somalia. In fact, there was a UN report of 2001 which said that genocide was planned and perpetrated by the Somali government against the Isaac people of Somaliland. This was UN report of 2021. So you see, you very much understand how the Somalilanders believe. And
So it
for
was
us,
already simmering.
it was simmering.
So Somaliland leadership hobnobbed with Israel, or,
No.
or it was the other way around.
That's a different thing. That's I mean, that was far way off. Immediately after Said Barre, I think in 1991 he was removed, and he went.
No, I'm talking of the latest
Yes,
situation.
but now as far as the latest situation is concerned, you see, when the present president, his name is Abdul Rahman Muhammad Abdullahi, when he became the president in last year, and you see, Asif, last year when elections were held, there were 5 countries only in Africa in which opposition leader became the president or the prime minister or the head of the government or head of the, and Somaliland was one of them. And this shows how strong democracy is in Somaliland. So when this gentleman became the president, he sent letters to at least 40 presidents asking them to recognize Somaliland. You see, all the presidents before him, his predecessors, they have been asking the world to recognize them. And Israel was one of the countries which he had sent the letter.
But I'll come to this African Union's part later. Riaz?
Yes, I wanted to raise one issue
Yes.
which I am still struggling to understand. For the last more than 3 decades, this autonomous region or an independent country or a sovereign country, Somaliland, was struggling to get international recognition, but it could fail to even get one recognition from any neighboring
It
country
couldn't elicit
or
support.
regional country or at the international level.
Yeah.
What happened last week that Israel took the decision to sign a decree
Yes.
to extend recognition to the state of Somaliland.
So
I
here
think-
comes the Middle Eastern politics, I think.
So I think while we are discussing historical aspects, Imran should also discuss this issue. Why Somaliland failed to get international recognition during the last 3 decades?
See,
Yeah.
Riaz, Somaliland has been, since their independence, it's 1991, they have been
Yeah.
asking the international community to recognize them because they have all the aspects, all the trappings. They have their own government, they have their own legislature, they have their own passport, they have their own state bank, they have, they have the permanent boundary, everything which is required of.
They are functioning as a full-fledged
They are
government.
functioning as a full-fledged government. They have representative offices in umpteen number of countries, and countries like UK, US, Japan, Turkey. Turkey has a consulate general in Hargeisa. So these countries have their representative office. Taiwan has a representative office now.
Taiwan has representative office in many countries of the world.
It has in Somaliland also. Now, Asif, main objection was the African Union. African Union says that, well, and the Africans, that if we allow this separation to happen, this secession to take place, there are other secessionist movements, separatist movements in Africa. And at the moment, there are 22 active secessionist movements in Africa, starting from Morocco, going down there. So they are all there. One thing. Second thing, they say that the colonial boundaries should not be changed. I think that even does not carry weight, because what Somaliland is saying, that they are not asking for a redrawing of the boundaries. They are saying that we had voluntarily agreed to
join
Somalia. Now we want our independence back. So they are not changing the boundaries. They are just going back to the old boundaries.
You think they are justified?
I believe they are justified. You see, they have everything, Asif. They have suffered. Somaliland has suffered at the hands of Somalia, right? They are not redrawing the colonial boundaries. They are not drawing the boundaries of Africa. So my belief, I may be wrong. I mean, everyone has the right to view. My belief is that Somaliland, when they ask for for independence, they have a right. It's a functioning democracy. You see, 1991, when Somalia was bleeding, when there was a civil war taking place, Somaliland was moving towards democracy. They were strengthening democratic institutions. They were strengthening democracy within their own country. So it is a country which has all the trappings for an independent government or independent state.
But the issue is that right now the Somali government, led by Hassan Sheikh,
Yeah.
he dashed to Turkey.
Yes, he did.
And elicited his support, which President Erdogan was quite forthcoming, and he condemned Israeli attempts. And then even the permanent representative of Somalia said in UN Security Council that you intend to, in fact, push the Palestinians to Somaliland. And in a way, it is an Israeli machination to deport or
Resettle
them in the Somaliland. So how do you see this aspect? Because this is also, it is already in the making, and Israelis have been trying to throw out Gazans, Palestinians from Gaza. So how you read that?
It would be an ideal situation for Mr. Netanyahu, for Israel, if this thing happens. I don't think, as far as resettlement of Gazans in Somaliland, I don't think that is practical, or that is going to happen. Of course, when Mr. Trump came, initially he talked about that Rivera thing, Gaza Rivera, but there was a lot of international reaction to what he was saying. So I believe that there would still be a lot of, and we are already witnessing the reaction of international community as far as this aspect of this recognition is concerned. So my belief is, again, as I said, I might be wrong, but my belief is that this thing is not in the minds of the Israelis at the moment, or in the mind of Mr. Netanyahu. As if my belief is that there is only one reason why Israelis want to have a presence in Somaliland, to say that Mr. Netanyahu or Israel, they have an ideological view on that. That is, they believe that they respect the right of self-determination of Somalilanders.
So how about the Palestinians' right of self-determination?
That's why I say I think it's BS. So what basically Israel would want is, their fear is Iran. I believe that one fear that haunts Mr. Netanyahu is Iran. And when we talk about Iran, I don't know whether this is correct or not, they're proxies, the Houthis. So they would want to have a place there in Somaliland, in Gulf of Aden. Yemen is about 22 kilometers across Gulf of Aden. This Red Sea. So they would want to have a presence there where they can monitor the activities of the Houthis, and also to see what Iran is doing with them. Just go around there, the Strait of Hormuz, and there is Iran. So they would want there to monitor this thing. Second thing is, they would, I believe, also would like to have a naval base there from where they could operate or attack them. As if we must realize that Israel is no longer the same Israel. The October attack by the Hamas has changed everything. It has changed the way Israelis and Mr. Netanyahu view the world or view the region. Now they are more assertive. They want to be more. I think
do they have the necessary wherewithal?
They have the necessary wherewithal.
I want to add one thing more.
From the Middle Eastern point of view, you have served in Saudi also, and you have been in UAE, and you know the politics.
So, first I want to raise one thing. Imran said that, for most objective of, extending recognition to Somaliland by Israel is to establish some presence in Somaliland. My question is, what the US is doing in Djibouti? they have a full-fledged naval base over there.
Yeah. They also have in Somalia.
And you know, given the Indo-US, you know, relationship, everything is available to the state of Israel from the USA. So why they want to establish their own presence?
What do you mean by Indo-US relationship?
Sorry, I'm not Indo-USA. Sorry.
Sorry?
I am saying
Israel,
USA.
Israel, USA.
And they have
Fine,
their
but they
own
already have the
relationship.
bases.
Yeah.
Whether it's Djibouti or it is Somalia.
In Djibouti, it is fully functional, and they can fully monitor, you know, the movement.
It's
of
not the question of monitoring. I
Yeah.
think a new storm is building up, in which you have this Gulf of Aden and Bab al Mandab. These are now important, and you already have a crisis in Yemen.
Exactly.
And now recently you had Saudi Arabia versus United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
And Saudi put the UAE to notice, and under which UAE has withdrawn, is likely to withdraw its troops.
From the Yemen.
So what my question is, that is it a storm which is in the making? Greater, at a larger scale? In which it will involve, say, China, because China also has its base in Eritrea.
French base, yeah.
Sorry, Djibouti. And then maybe Russia will also jump in.
Now, let me answer this question first. That is the Americans. See, Americans have a base, Camp Lemonnier. They have in Djibouti, and it is fully functional. It also houses British troops. It also houses German troops. They are also in the same, and it is present at the airport. I have seen that. It is present at the airport. You see, at the airport, the Djibouti airport, even their president cannot. There are certain areas which are restricted even to the president of Djibouti. Well, that's besides the point. But what I'm trying to say is that when Americans, in this Houthi crisis, when Houthis were bombing the ships, Americans wanted to use their Camp Lemonnier to attack the Houthis. Djiboutians refused. One thing. Second thing is, Chinese are present in, and they have a humongous base in Djibouti. And that base is on the Dorele port, from where they can monitor every naval activity. And Americans are not happy for it. So Americans are looking for a place to have their base. They tried the Assab base in Eritrea. That is also a possibility. But Somaliland, the port of Berbera, that is more attractive for them. But here lies the catch. Americans already have a base in Somalia from where they conduct operations against Al-Shabaab. Now, if they start establishing a base in Somaliland, they would surely antagonize Mogadishu. And they do not want to do that. They don't want Mogadishu to treat them the same way as they treated the UAE, that they asked them to just...
But how Somalia is going to react? Because they have reacted angrily as far as Israeli action is concerned.
Exactly.
But on the American side, they think that since they have maintained a relationship with the United States, Somali President Hassan was not that harsh on the Americans. Still, his dislike was visible from his interaction with the media when he visited Ankara. So, but again, coming back to the question, is what is in it for Israel actually? Does Israel have the capacity to run a base in Somaliland?
I'm sure it have the capacity. They have everything. You see, Israel considers the Iranians as a security threat.
But Iran is not in the neighborhood.
Yeah, but the Houthis are. Yemen is.
But they are in any case.
Yemen, you see, this Red Sea, it's the basic. They have been targeted. The Houthis have been targeting the Israeli ships there. Israeli trade is affected there. So for that thing, and you see, as if we all know that how important trade is now and how important it is going to be in the future as well. So Israel is not sure how Houthis would react to things.
No, you know,
Riaz, you want to add?
Yeah, you know, we are discussing mostly, you know, the security and the defense aspect of this recognition. My view is that U.S. has its presence over there. UAE has its presence in Somaliland. They have the bases, and they have a relationship both with the USA and with Israel. So I don't think Israel will have, you know, the capacity at the moment, unless it wants to extend it, you know, to the Red Sea, to establish a full-fledged naval base over there, where Shabab, you know, the organization is already active in that area, and to invite trouble for themselves while going about.
How active is Shabab?
I mean, they have their presence over there, and
Where?
still, you know, in that region, in the whole region,
in Somalia.
Houthis are already there. In
Yeah.
Somalia, for
Yeah.
example, and Somalia is still struggling, you know, with the Shabab.
But Turkey has a
elements.
lot of investment
Exactly.
in Somalia.
So I think Israel is in a better position to, you know, further extend its cooperation with the UAE in terms of security and defense cooperation, as well as with the US it has already had. It has all the information, as you know, President Trump has said many times that Israel is a red line for them. So they don't tolerate any threat to the interest of the state of Israel.
See, Riaz, if UAE, my belief is that if UAE starts developing,
You are
this-
talking about your belief, I am talking about my views.
Yeah, okay,
So
my-
you are quite strong in that.
Okay, my views also. I think that UAE would not want to enter into full-fledged cooperation, defense and intelligence cooperation in Somaliland with Israel. It is already facing lot of opposition from number of Arab countries. So it would want to portray it. You see, already UAE has said that this base of ours is more for commercial reasons, one thing. Second thing, it is more for counter-terrorism and controlling piracy.
I mean, when you are talking about Houthis, they say counter-terrorism. You are not talking about Yemen, where you are going to, you know, extend your security cooperation. So the fight is against Houthis and Shabab elements.
But if you look at it from the commercial point of view, the Red Sea and the Bab el Mandeb, it's you know, almost 12% of world oil passes through this.
1/3, yes.
Yeah, and similarly LNG.
Yeah.
So there are big stakes involved.
Exactly,
And there have been attacks from the Houthi side.
And Houthis are also collecting a lot of money.
But I think Somaliland perhaps can provide some kind of a protection. I don't know, because their army is not big. It's around 10,000 to 12,000 army in a country of, I mean, and you can say in the
6
geography,
million.
almost 5-6 million,
million
people are living there. I don't think they have the necessary wherewithal unless Israel comes in and then it
You're right, yes,
reinforces and then it gives necessary
They depend upon
muscles to
Israel,
them.
they depend upon UAE a lot now. I mean, depend in a way that...
You think UAE is also involved in the Somaliland?
Asif, I believe, and you said it strong, I believe that UAE is the architect of, or will be the architect of fragmentation in Africa.
Why Africa? It's just the Somaliland. How about
It's not,
else?
no, sir. Somaliland, Puntland, Jubaland, right? Then you come to Ethiopia. Then you come to Sudan. I think UAE is playing most nefarious game in Sudan. It is funding and it is responsible for the killing of thousands of Darfurians.
But it may have serious consequences for UAE.
It is of course, as they say, if
You have already seen in Yemen.
As you sow, so shall you reap.
No,
but yes, it can still have serious consequences. You see it in Libya. It has been supporting Field Marshal Haftar, and through Libya they have been providing arms to Sudan.
But you don't
UAE
think that
has-
we are also, probably there will be big challenges for Pakistan Because our Field Marshal visited Haftar.
He did visit
And
Haftar.
secondly, on Yemen issue, it is we have expressed our full solidarity with Saudi Arabia. Where are we going?
Asif, this is very interesting question. That we went and we signed billions of dollars agreement with to provide them arms.
Yeah.
Yet, the embassy which we have is of the government, which is an internationally recognized government. We have their embassy here in Islamabad, but what is happening is we are being seen as a side which is as a country which is taking sides. We are no longer neutral in this affair.
What could be the consequences?
I mean, we need to, follow our own interests
yes.
over there, economic interests, defense interests. We want to, find new markets of our defense equipment, whatever we can export to, to a country or to a legitimate, buyer.
But
No,
you see,
my
they
worry
are-
is it going to fly?
Haftar is a warlord. Haftar is that he's a warlord.
If that is the issue, our two, friendly countries, Saudi Arabia and UAE, they both are following different groups in different countries.
No, but here, Riaz, the issue is with Saudi Arabia, we have entered into a strategic agreement, under which that any attack on one country is considered to be attack on both. If that's the case, say in the Yemen's case, Yemen is the backyard of Saudi Arabia. And Saudi's warning to the UAE, we all have seen. So it has consequences. And then I think we'll have to have tightrope walking. I think.
That's why our Prime
We
Minister
are already in a cliffhanger, if you think.
Absolutely correct.
Our Prime Minister held two important meetings,
Yeah.
with the President of the UAE on
I
this
hope good
issue.
sense prevails.
Asif, what Riaz said that we need to have new markets. Yes, we need to have new markets. We need to have we need to develop our economy. We need to have new markets for everything. But in search of new markets, we must realize, we must understand that there are consequences, as you said, there are consequences for actions which should not be taken. We have to be careful. As I said, Field Marshal Haftar is considered as a warlord, irrespective of the fact that many countries, European countries, France, Germany, they are causing in with Haftar, realizing.
Is Libya also heading towards a split?
I think so.
I don't think.
Are we
Saudi
expecting more splits, say, beginning with Africa?
Africa, I think African Union is a strong international body, African body, and they are playing a role in preventing the division, the fragmentation of Africa. But as I said, there are countries like UAE. I don't hesitate in naming UAE. UAE is playing a dirty game in Africa. So these countries are responsible and they can break Africa, but I still believe African Union is strong enough not to take control of things.
Riaz, what do you think?
Talking about UAE, I think the UAE played some role in Libya, when there was civil war, like situation was ongoing there. And being a, not a small part, but a middle part, I would say, given their economic situation and economic strength, they want to play a constructive role to expand their economic interests.
Who wants to play a constructive role?
UAE, I am talking about.
In Sudan, they are providing arms. He's talking about
Yeah,
constructive role.
interest.
Constructive. No. You said constructive
Yes,
role. They are providing arms. Now, when Yemen war was taking place, they were using the Sudanese people by providing them $5 or something like that, and they were taking them to Yemen to fight their war. After that, Mr. Hamiti, the General de Gallo, he has been constantly supported. The gold, this Darfur region is known for its gold. That gold, where is it going? It's going to UAE. UAE is emerging as a major hub for gold trade. What constructive role?
It is a major hub.
Again,
of
then
gold.
my
What
worry is.
constructive role you are talking about?
hub
What
of
constructive role you are talking about?
Gentlemen,
Major hub of gold.
Gentlemen,
Come on.
If you talk about DR Congo,
Let's
you talk of Zimbabwe, most of the gold coming to Dubai and then going to
And how is this gold going? How is this gold going to UAE? It is being
don't say smuggled.
It is smuggled. What else? Do you think it is going fairly?
Yeah, it is.
Riaz
No,
Bukhari.
they have
Ambassador Riaz
the
Bukhari.
paper issued by the State Bank, Reserve Bank of
Okay,
Zimbabwe.
gentlemen, no, the question is, now we are at the fag end, and I think this is, you can say, a brewing crisis, which is already in our hands. And we have to be carefully watching it. The reason is because there are big stakes for Pakistan also.
Yes.
It is in our vicinity, in our region. And then we have good, best relations with the UAE and also with Saudi Arabia. And we have to play a moderating role, I think. And we already are playing. Hopefully, there will be some success. But with regard to, we begin with the Somaliland, but overall it turns out that in our discussion that the Middle East as a whole actually will be involved in this entire crisis. And there could be multiple fronts where this crisis, but rather we will have multiple crises in future. And how we cope up with that, I think that would be a big challenge.
Right?
That would be a big challenge for the countries of the region in the Middle East. And we being the neighbor of Middle East, it would also affect us. And we'll have to play our cards very smartly.
Exactly.
And I think hopefully our viewers would also look into that and then make their own decisions. So thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching us. Please subscribe to our channel, and we'll continue to serve you as the issues unfold. Thank you so much.